All right, we're back. We're back. This is the Chieftains podcast. You're now listening to Chief X.
Chief
Chief
Meta.
Drea.
And on today's topics, we'll be discussing brunch niggas, the NAACP, as well as some other people under the brunch nigga category. Topic number 2 is going to be Amber Geiger's verdict,
Wow.
Stacey Dash's nigga wake up call, and white paternalism. And to start things off, we're going to define brunch niggas. No, it's not what you all think, a bunch of people getting together having brunch, even though it could include that. But brunch niggas are a bunch of do-nothing organizations or people that you see at every event, luncheon, or bruncheon. They seem to never make any progress within policy or the waistlines. But the dominant society puts them up as spokespersons for our thing, or they're all fighting over them butter biscuits for some attention and checks from White Zaddy. So let's list off some of these organizations or people that fit the bill. Number 1, NAACP. Number 2, the Divine Nine. 3, Jack and Jill. And they're all tied for 4. Roland Martin, Angela Rye, Simone Sanders, April Ryan. And number 5, the UNCF. Okay, so the history of the NAACP, I want to say that their national office was open like around 1910, so they had to start probably about 5 years before that with W. Du Bois's Niagara movement for civil rights. Now it's like in 1905. Now, in 1910, they opened up a national office in New York City, and they had a whole bunch of board of directors, as well as President Moorfield Story, a white constitutional lawyer. Already, you're starting off wrong. And former president of the American Bar Association. Other early members included Joel and Arthur Spangarn, Josephine Ruffin, Mary Talbert, Inez Milholland, Jane Addams, Florence Kelly, and a whole bunch of other white people with some black folks playing on there and the whole multicultural movement of do nothing, right? So let's listen to what Malcolm X had to say about the NAACP.
Because as much as the different NAACP leaders have allowed themselves to open up, have allowed their master, puppeteer, to maneuver them into attacking the Muslims, still the Muslims have refrained from attacking the NAACP, and only when it takes place is in self-defense. And this man spent his entire night doing the same thing. Well, we are not going to allow ourselves to be sidetracked fighting the NAACP, or fighting the Corps, or fighting the Urban League, or these other organizations who are headed by white people. We're not going to take time to fight them, but we do feel that when you have black organizations, they should have black leaders. An organization, for instance, like the NAACP, which is fighting for the advancement of colored people, it has had 50 presidents, or rather it has elected presidents 50 times. It's been in existence, I think, 51 years this year. And every year they elect a different president. But every president
Whoa, buddy. Saying that way back then. Who was the founder? Yep. Yeah, it's kind of
NAACP.
the founder is odd. It's odd.
The founder. It just says a group of white liberals that included
Moorfield.
Mary White Ovington and Oswald Garrison Villard,
Yep.
William English Walling, and Dr. Henry Moskowitz issued a call for a meeting to discuss racial justice. Some 60 people,
And
7 of whom
Moorfield
were
Story.
African American, included W. Du Bois,
Story
E.W. Wells
served as the
Barnett, and Mary
founding
Church
president
Terrell.
of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Mm-hmm. So y'all get the overall gist of what Brother Malcolm was saying, right? Yeah, like they basically started out as this organization that was supposed to address these different injustices that were happening during our time period. But you look at them today, what actual
Right.
progress has been made except for the national advancement of certain people? And you know what I mean? Like you look at it, like they're definitely they're advocating for everyone but foundational Black Americans. And so you go to their foundations already, they had started off wrong. Not saying that we can't have allies, but the intentions of the allies were to actually help us move our particular causes to the forefront, and we be able to be at the front of everything in terms of the movement itself. And oftentimes they
This is
actually put
factual.
themselves at the head of these
Okay, I want
organizations
you
or at
to
the head
click
of the
that
movement
link.
and addressing only
Apologize for
maybe their
interruption, but
causes and
click that
concerns.
link and you take a look at the founding president Moorfield's story. And could you give us a description of Mr. Moorfield's story, if you don't mind, Chief Drea? It's in the Zencaster chat. Hold on. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in the other one too. Oh yeah, yeah. That link right there. The brother shot 9 times. That's for later.
Mm-hmm.
That's later. That's later. But Mr. Moorfield's story is interesting person.
Yeah, Moorfield's story. Um, he was an American lawyer, anti-imperial activist, and civil rights leader based in Boston,
Mm.
Massachusetts. And he had a worldview that embodied pacifism, anti-imperialism, and racial egalitarianism, for as much as it did laissez-faire and moral tone in government. Interesting. So it seemed like it was more about what his
Mm-hmm.
view of agitation was actually not really taking a stance at all. So basically being docile, and that's kind of like what happened with the NAACP. They kind of became very docile, even though the
Hmm.
government viewed them any form of political agitation and immediately caused them to be
Well,
watched
it
by the
turns out
FBI.
that he
But
consistently and aggressively
how were they
championed civil
extreme
rights,
anyway
not
when they
only
weren't
for
really doing
blacks, but
much
also
even
for
back then?
American Indians. Shout outs to the natives and immigrants. He opposed immigration restrictions and supported racial equality and self determination. But I have to interject on that self determination when you continually bring people like the Irish over during this period in time that he's speaking about, and they ended up occupying the
Mm-hmm.
rungs that we were occupying in that ladder, and they were having racial and ethnic disturbances against us and demonstrating how much they wanted to fully assimilate into the greater white dominant group. And unrestricted,
Yep.
passage that was allowed to them led to these lynchings and burnings and riots and strikes. It's kind of odd. And his dear friend, the Irish lawyer Lord Russell.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and get into the
Ooh.
Divine Nine, like as number two on that list. And the reason why we brought them up is because
Yep.
often there's this back and forth between the conscious community and the Divine Nine, and both sides have some validity to the arguments,
Ooh.
because is it true that the Black Greeks from the
Yes.
foundation were trying to start a class system within the Black community amongst themselves? Yes, we can say that. And while turning a blind eye to the different social issues back then and also now. But shout outs to those Black Greeks that had something to do with the Amber Geiger case. Yes, you guys have a wonderful and
No,
beautiful
not at all.
job, and you guys were working within the system to try to bring aboard some form of justice. But this is not the point that I'm trying to make here. What I want to get at is like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, thank you guys for Arturo Alfonso Schomburg, even though he isn't necessarily a foundational Black,
Brother
Huey P.
Caliban.
Newton, Carter G. Woodson. Betty Shabazz,
Mhm.
okay, Khalid
Mhm.
Muhammad, Bobby Rush, Kwame Nkrumah. All right, all these are great and wonderful people, but
Brunching,
what are you guys doing today as a
munching,
collective
brunching, munching,
for
and throwing
foundational Black
functions.
Americans
The only
today?
thing
You
is
know,
that
we can no longer live in the
exactly, and registering
days
folks
of
to vote and
greatness
not really
once
giving a
upon a
policy
time.
behind who they should vote is, hey, just go register to vote and have a good day.
We're gonna run voting drives, and that's the extent of the community. I don't know. Maybe we should have somebody call in and
Mhm.
talk about the community service because I don't want
That's
to be
it.
biased. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Mhm.
ooh.
Yeah, we can do that at some other point.
Yeah.
And number
Awesome.
three is going to be Jack and Jill, though. See, they're all tied in together.
The
All right.
rest.
This is where the elite Black children are
Yes.
often separated from the rest of the Black children. And if for anyone who hasn't read All Kind of People, E. Franklin Frazier, he talked
Mhm.
about how the bourgeoisie class of Blacks prep their kids for high paying jobs in this particular exclusive network via Jack and Jill. And the reason many of the upper class Blacks want their children in Jack and Jill is for the exclusive social and educational benefits. And this is a direct quote. Even if you send your children to the best private schools and colleges, it doesn't mean that they will get to meet Black role models who inspire them and make them feel that they can succeed in the white world. That's what Jack and Jill can do, as James, a Savannah parent whose son, Robert, grew up in Jack and Jill and later graduated from Savannah
They
Country
are.
Day School,
They're
Harvard
white
University, and Harvard
aspirations.
Yeah,
Law
that's
School.
It
definitely
What it
white
is.
sounds like
aspirations.
is
They're the
y'all trying to
grifters.
be like white people.
Mhm.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Our kind of people,
Because
huh?
it take money to go to private
Okay,
school.
who are the
It take
rest?
money to
Who
have
are
these
the
exclusive
rest
events,
though?
right? You guys sitting around,
Who
you
are
having,
the rest?
high tea, dressing nice little top hats
The
and all
re-
that,
the rest of
little,
y'all niggas out
yeah,
here
yeah,
free.
all
Ooh,
kind of
the
people.
rest of y'all niggas out here, y'all in the fit.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
You filled Negroes. Uh-huh.
I have, yeah, I want to
So,
add to
so
it
do
because
y'all
me
have
going
anything
to
else to add about this
HBCU,
whole
I'm
Jack
a
and
proud
Jill
HBCU alum.
thing here?
I
Y'all
came
got anything
across
else
a
you want
lot
to
of
say?
these folks in Jack and Jill, organizations, and I'm like, well, why y'all here? Oh, because I want to get more and tapped into my Blackness. What? You want to get more and tapped into your Blackness by going to HBCU? But I thought that y'all was aspiring to be white. So, it was always that side eye, like, why y'all here? And then too, you'll hear the stories of, well, we had a maid, we had a driver, we had this. And so coming from, like my background, yeah, my parents, working class, whatever the case is, you're like, my
Right.
driver was my
I'm
mom and
trying to
dad
figure out. We're talking
to
about all these
schools.
resources they had. So how did they spread the bread around? How did they break bread with the community? Because they're coming in, right, to soak up y'all sauce. You notice that they were like, oh, we're getting more in contact with our
Mhm.
Blackness. We're trying to get more attached to it. So they're coming in to soak up the sauce, but how are they paying for the sauce besides contributing to the
Mhm.
facility? Because that's not enough. Like, what benefit are they? Did they put you up on any game? Did they
Right,
introduce you to
right.
anybody? Did they bring you to any meetings? Did they say, hey, this is my rich ass cousin that owns this
Right,
facility
right.
over here? This is the distributor. He actually owned the means of production of something. Hey, do you know this is how this really works back here? Instead of just stunting on you, did they do anything like that at all?
Right. There was nothing like that. The only thing is, like we talked about last episode, is it's easy to start on other Black folks, right? If you are not putting us on game or accessing your social capital, opening it up to the rest of us folks, then it's easy for you to stunt and say, I had a driver. Okay, but where's the generational wealth that you can help, your tribe, your people at HBCUs? There's none. So it's just pretty much like I'm stunting on all y'all.
Wow. Like they didn't tell you the relationships that their family built to acquire the driver. They didn't even say I need to hire a driver. Nothing like that. No way for nothing to elevate y'all.
Nothing like that. No, nothing to elevate. They're only going to elevate themselves to get into the Divine Nine, so they can run for Mr. or Mrs. Let's say Tuskegee University.
Oh, so more
so they
things
could
to
be
put on
legacy
their sticker
and keep
price.
that
So
legacy
more things
alive.
to add to the resume. Okay.
Of course, of course, and of
Adding them
course.
stats, baby.
Yeah, it is exactly, and yep, exactly like that.
Yep.
And the thing about them is they even have like, for example, there's a difference between the
Mm,
old money and the new money, and they talk about
yeah.
that in the book.
They got money
Like
from
I think they
entertainment
said something about Bill
instead of
Cosby
Right.
and Reginald Lewis. How no, he's not like
instead of
us.
some of
They're
that,
not like us.
Exactly.
not trying to
Exactly.
insert
Like they're part
people's
of the
name,
new
but a certain
class of blacks.
presidential candidate, they may have inherited their money from
Yeah,
being the descendant
yeah.
of owners. Quiet
hmm
as kept, but let's just leave that,
Of course.
where it is.
Right.
hmm
Big
Let's leave that
rolling,
where it's at,
big
And
rolling,
so
big
oh god, number
butterfly, keep
4.
rolling.
The all time for
Rolling
4:
down the
Roland
hill.
Martin, Angela Rye,
Hey,
Simone Sanders, and April Ryan. Rolly, rolly, rolly. You know what? You know what? Rolly.
Big old.
so, all right.
Wow.
So these 4 people, I want to read this real
What
quick
y'all
because this
gotta
is
say
book that
about
everyone should read called Black Bourgeoisie. I read
these
this in
foolish people right here?
my social work class. It's by a really dope Black social scientist. E. Franklin Frazier wrote about the Black bourgeoisie. He studied the behaviors and attitudes of the said Black folks who were grifters in the 40s and
Ooh.
50s. He was daring and transparent in his assessment and casted a critical eye on a section of Black society that had achieved the trappings of the white bourgeoisie ideal. Frazier traced the evolution of this complex class from the segregated South to the post-war boom in the integrated North, showing how, along the road to what seemed like prosperity and progress, middle-class Blacks actually lost their roots to the traditional Black world while never achieving acknowledgement from the white sector. The result, concluded Frazier, is a bourgeoisie class with no identity built on self-sustaining myths of Black business and society, silently undermined by a collective deliberate inferiority complex. Whoa. So that's pretty much like the sum of what we was just talking about, the Black bourgeoisie class. And there's such a thing as far as with the Jack and Jill, as far as with the NAACP, as far as with the Divine Nine, they're all lumped in together to be this Black bourgeoisie class who can stunt on on the Black people, not stunt on white folks because white people's not thinking about them. So this is the grifter class that we always talk about.
Wow. And it seems like they jump right back into our sphere of cultural influence to do a little bit of altering and give themselves some credibility for their outer circle so the white
Yeah,
capital
yeah.
can pay them some attention. We have some authenticity here.
Yep.
Look, we're real Blacks now. It's not a monolith.
Right.
Definitely.
Mm.
Yes.
hmm Right.
Our kind of
Oh, and just to correct myself earlier, I know
That's
I said
fine.
Frazier wrote
Yeah, our kind of
the
people.
book, but
And
no,
which
it's
that's
actually,
why
like
we
she said,
linked
Lawrence
in,
Otis
Roland
Graham. Sorry
Martin,
about that.
Angela Rye, Simone
Just correct
Sanders, and
myself. A
April
little late
Ryan
on that.
because they're kind of like, well, we're in this bourgeoisie class. We're always getting invited to the luncheons. We're always the keynote speakers. We should have added Oprah to that, but we'll talk about that later. And also too, my Black
300.
right, $50 plates, and my group of Black folks are doing good. Like we doing good over here. What y'all talking about?
$50 plates.
The decadent failment.
Not to embarrass.
And it's like, oh, I can't take you to go meet these other people, these
Right.
other Black folk, because you're gonna embarrass me. Damn. Like, then how am I supposed to get the bag then if I can't meet them? Then how am I supposed to make myself better financially if I can't meet them? You want me to be a part of your folk?
Those are
No,
what we
because you're
just
better
talking
than
about.
us,
Black
right?
bourgeoisie. Didn't Angela Rye say she know what I'm talking about because her folks are doing good? Her friends are doing good. Ain't no such thing as poor black folks.
Wow.
Mm.
Sure does. Speaking
Fact.
in the face of facts, you dare make a
Yeah.
statement like that, but it's
that
cool. I
data,
understand where
says
it
otherwise.
comes
Like
from.
folk out
They
here
are
doing
decadent veil
bad,
agents team.
doing
They're here to
bad.
keep that smoke screen up so other people can't run past, and they need to keep a lot of that funding and attention for themselves, even though they got the bag and the funds and
Yeah.
buffer people, just like Roland.
Yep.
It's like Roland
Buffer.
Martin's maternal great grandparents who had migrated from
What
Haiti
one of
to
us
Louisiana,
say?
where his family
They're a buffer
originated.
class.
And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
were they jeunes de
Yeah,
couleur?
they're buffer
Were they
people.
free to migrate? Because my family was on property in that area. I've been on a plantation in Louisiana where they were working for free, and you were free to go there. So I wonder
That's
what
what I
kind
want to
of
know.
position that you occupied in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were they like the
Oh, didn't
Creole?
they say something crazy the other day?
Okay.
We can talk about it on a different
get that.
episode.
Let me speak
But
on. Yeah,
I'll
yeah, yeah,
tackle.
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
UNCF.
Go ahead. You
Okay,
talk on
cool.
it. Go ahead.
Okay. The
Who
UNCF,
wants to tackle
also
that? The
known as the
UNCF. Who wants to
United
tackle that one?
Fund, the United Negro College Fund, is an American philanthropic organization that funds scholarships for black students and general scholarship funds for 37 private historically black colleges and universities. UNCF was incorporated on April 25th, 1944 by Frederick D. Patterson, then president of what is now Tuskegee University, Mary McLeod Bethune, and others. UNCF is headquartered at 1805 7th Street, Northwest in Washington, D.C. Shouts to Uptown. In 2005, UNCF supported approximately 65,000 students, there's 40 million of us, at over 900 colleges and universities with approximately 113 million in grants and scholarships. About 60% of these students are the first in their families to attend college. That's beautiful. And 62% have annual family incomes of less than $25,000. Wow. UNCF also administers only over 450 named scholarships. The luncheon, named after longtime UNCF supporter Dr. Maya Angelou, honors local women making a positive impact in the Charlotte community. Oprah brought the crowd to its feet when she announced that she was matching the $1.15 million that had been raised to support historically black colleges and universities. But I thought
Wow.
African American women didn't want education. According to her, they just wanted iPhones and sneakers. And then she opened that school over there where those situations happened.
Cute.
I mean, there was some foul situations involving sexual abuse, and a child was found there, a newborn baby. So, we don't really speak too much on that, but it's kind of odd and ironic that you're matching that money. And I want to know where it went to. Miss Winfrey.
Right. Interesting. And what I yes. I wanted to mention this real quick because I work closely with UNCF. The reason why a lot of people don't say United Negro College Fund because in 2008 they decided to keep that silent and promote the brand of the logo. Why is this? Because they want to be more inclusive and diverse. The landscape of HBCUs are swiftly changing. 30% of their student population are international students. Also, too, like I said, I work closely with this foundation, and one school here where I live at that is a PWI, predominantly white institution. They receive UNCF funding, and I'm investigating how did they receive this funding and why my other HBCU did not receive the funding. So that's another topic of discussion. And from what I was told from, one of my homies that, is at a HBCU that's a admin there, because that said PWI have over 50% of black students. Are they foundational Black Americans? We don't know. Hey, you got 50% of Black students. We'll throw y'all some coins over here. So, like I said, I'm doing my own investigation on that because I know at least 3 other of my HBCUs can need this money, but it's going to a PWI here in the state of Alabama.
Whoa, buddy.
That's nuts.
6.
All right, we're going now. I see here that we
6
gave the Congressional Black Caucus the honorary 6th place here. It looks like.
Congressional brunch.
And so speaking of the CBC, and they do not a damn
Lost the
thing
chicken
for
and brunch
foundational
caucus.
Black Americans. They're
I
always
agree.
talking about
Chicken and
immigrants, so
brunch
they
caucus.
might as well just go ahead and just rename themselves the immigrant Black Caucus. So chicken and brunch caucus. Oh, and so they got this event that's coming up, right? It's called the CBCS 2019 Annual Legislative Conference, but they have a whole itinerary, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it here in the chat here on our Zencaster, so you guys can see it for yourselves. And they got a whole list of things that's happening, and it always involves some damn food.
We don't need no more.
All right, or our think tank. Policy Lab, the Black Policy Lab at Howard University. How many damn think tanks do we need?
The what?
You got a Black Blockchain Summit 2019. Okay, that might be a little. That sounds interesting. The Hustlers Guild kickoff reception. The Hustlers Guild. Everybody's the Hustlers Guild. Yeah. HBCU CEO Initiative Kickoff Event. This is an initiative to support small businesses expand access to opportunities, stimulate strategic partnerships, and tips to operate in excellence. Okay, that's very interesting. The Center for Urban and Racial Equity Storytelling event. They got a CBC, more food. CBC Veterans Brain Trust Welcome Reception. Sounds like you need some food in there too. Oh my good. They have a whole list of events that's going on. I don't want to name them all off, but go ahead and check it out. And I'm also going to put that I'm going to put it on our Facebook page too, so that everyone can check out. I'm not really trying to promote the CBC, but what I want to get at is that there's a lot of events that's going on out there, and notice how there's never any actual progress being made in terms of.
I thought you can only have one kickoff.
They always got an event. Black and white tie fair.
No, you gotta have
$300 plates. You gotta kick off for this. We gotta think tank for that.
So it sounds like they're not only just having.
I thought you can only have one. You can do 2 grand openings if you need to, but normally a grand opening and a grand closing.
A libation,
anyway,
so we can get you drunk, so you won't remember why you here. So. Facts.
And you saw, remember why you're there, yep. Or you do something reckless that night, so that way they can blackmail you later. All right, second topic is Amber Geiger's verdict. Was really good with that. I know a lot of people were, they were nervous and whether or not she was going to get found guilty or not. And there were some people who were cheering. And I'm one of those listen,
going down or
we
not,
did a
I
whole
didn't
system of white supremacy and
a live
one
video.
race soldier going
various
down.
odd things going on, like this
that
woman's laptop going off and playing rock and roll music during it. It's just disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
That happening. There was some. There was testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that's kind of indeterminate sentencing. It's not.
There was a mission that she was supposed to be doing between 5 and life or something like that.
And the judge is she usually throws around this is going to happen, but it really don't happen, and that she like to play a lot of games. So don't start doing the celebration dance and thinking she's going to go away for life. You have to look at the judge who's the sentencing, and also too, how is this judge tough on, let's say, law enforcement? which a lot of times they're not because they're in the same field, they are buddy. And another thing that was weird too, did y'all see like the
Grooming
deputy
this woman.
combing Amber's hair?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, why are you even doing that?
At first, I thought I was like, maybe
That was very weird. That
were
was
you
very
checking her
weird.
for razors or something, but no, she was reassuring her and stroking her hair, and it seemed like some
Oh yeah, that was
law
weird. That
enforcement
was really weird.
sisterhood. The blue wall is up no matter what, and she kind of odd.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll take care of you.
Exactly.
That was weird.
Another thing is, people like it's gonna be she's gonna be
Yeah.
We'll make sure you'll
a
be in
women's
solitary
prison
confinement.
in the first place. Like it's not as
You'll
violent
be
or
safe.
segregated
We'll
or
protect you.
gang infested. The majority of people
Nannyism.
in there are there for drug crimes and crimes against children. They're not in there for quote unquote real nigga shit. So there's not going to be that treatment, and she's probably not going to be in general population in the first place. So she's going to be in protective custody in a relatively safe institution. All the wishing and well-wishing and violent wishing is a waste of mental energy. Oh, I hope they shank her. I hope she gets raped. Chill, man. We got greater things to think about. That's not popping. I have
About her going to solitary confinement? Like, I think she need to go underneath the jail.
Right.
Like, I think she should get.
What do you think about that?
She should go underneath the jail. She should get the death penalty. It's in Texas, right? They're very, harsh on crime. So I think she should get all the above.
Period.
Yep. Right. Lethal injection, all that, because it's more to the story, and my intuition is more to the story than what she said. And I'm just sick of these folks getting off. Like, I'm very sick of people getting off, and I'm sick of the white women tears. To be honest with you, I'm sick of seeing that, and then like gonna persuade like the jury, like, oh my God, she cried. I don't care. You cried. You wasn't crying that night when you shot this brother. You was like, oh, I did it. That's it. So I think she should. Nope. So I think she should go underneath the jail. That's my opinion.
She violated this man's sanctity and all of our sanctity at once.
Damn sure wasn't.
Think about it now. You can't even be behind the confines of your own home.
Right. Exactly. And that's
I can't even be in my apartment chilling. That means I gotta worry about someone kicking down the door and shooting me while I'm playing 2K. I'm not trying to be funny. Like that's like that legit right there is like, come on now. I can't be black anywhere. Real? I can't chill. I can't enjoy a drink in peace.
You sure did.
Nothing.
Apparently, she was
I thought I was in my apartment. How'd you think you was in your apartment?
Text, but that didn't distract her from.
I didn't realize I was in the wrong place.
Training and her center mass fire.
But you had enough sense to shoot this man, though.
Yeah. Exactly.
I spicy sexual text, but right.
Yeah,
exactly. All that was
they
intentional.
Brought that into the mix.
That means you targeted this black man
before she did that. She
you targeted
was engaged
him.
in that type of
conversation. That was intentional.
So was she aroused by doing this
afterwards?
Race soldiers,
did man.
That
race soldiers.
Satisfy?
Right. It could have been a ritual.
Was this some type of I don't know? Kind of odd.
Right.
Was this a ritual?
Yeah, because that
was this like a race soldier ritual? Like to be inducted to white supremacy, you gotta go kill a random black man.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who. Does you want these stripes, right?
The white woman.
You're already a cop.
She's a white woman now.
Is that a ritual?
She white.
Yeah.
She tried to pull a Jerry.
So now we can go ahead and talk about Stacey Dash's nigga wake up call.
Okay. I'm gonna put some old pictures because I think she's
white.
Been altering her skin tone as well. I'm gonna find these pictures.
She white.
Big bleach, baby.
The white people drafted her.
She's looking a little bit more brown here than usual, and I just think it's pathetic and disgusting
Oh,
how one
bleaching,
would
you say?
erase the beauty of melanin from their cells.
Exactly.
And then to the point of doing it psychologically, it doesn't work.
No.
Try the Jerry, try to bury the blackness, and try the Jerry. But you take a look at
Yeah, Jerry's coming all the way through. And the thing is, how you gonna say you're a white woman? Your name is Stacy Loretta Dash. You got a hood name.
Mm.
You ain't white.
your Damon
Yeah.
Dash's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Jerry.
Yeah, I think he did too. But still.
Oh,
That's not my kid, folks.
that's
I
on
thought
cold.
I thought he disowned her.
Wow.
Because you can see there's no
I
rehabilitation.
thought he like publicly disowned her. Like, I am not related to
He
that
definitely
chick.
disowned her. She looked like, I don't even know. She looked like, you know who she looked like now, y'all? She looked like Meghan Markle. Go look at
She's
her
in the sunken
mugshot.
place.
She like Meghan Markle. And it says, according to Dash Wikipedia page, her father Dennis Dash is black and her mother Linda Dash is Mexican. She is also the cousin of Damon Dash. Dash had only played black roles in movies and was worked more in the black community than any other demographic.
Oh, look at the difference between her, man. She's big bleach. Oh my God.
Right.
Look at the pictures side by side. Yo, she just skipped one whole phone.
she, she
Yeah,
looked mad dark back in the day. Now she
exactly.
look. What is going on,
She went from
cuz?
Kelly to Beyonce
Yeah.
almost that
Y'all need
Like,
fast. What are
to
you
the listeners
doing?
out there,
2.5
take a peep at her old pictures and then look at her current pictures, and you'll see exactly what we
Jerry came
mean.
all the
Is
way
she
through
Jerry,
on
pulling a
this
Michael
one.
Jackson?
look at this. This is crazy.
Woo!
She think it
Ethnic
is.
gerrymandering. Oh, Jerry.
You mix peroxide. That
And she don't look. Oh,
Mm-mm-mm.
oh no. That's not the look, boo.
And then another thing is like, okay, you're married to a
What are
white
you
Mm-hmm.
man. You
doing?
put
That
your
ain't
hands on that
it.
man. Did you think you became part of them after you touched him?
That's
And
not
that
it.
you thought it was popping for you after
Yep.
that? Did you think you could? She tried to gerrymander. You can gendermander or gerrymander. You put your hands on white.
Yeah. And they if they put the pause.
Oh, oh, oh. So, well, we can
Yeah,
talk about that.
exactly.
See, that
Then
segues to another conversation.
Right.
These
you know what
black women
happened in
getting with
her
these white
case?
men, and now they
She
think they
got
part of
access to
that
power, all right.
grouping.
She got her ass got access by that
Oh,
power.
I'm
And
part of
now
Yeah.
white
you throw her
society
ass
now.
in
I got me a
jail, and now
white
she is
man
empowered to say
and now I have
whatever she
access
wants
to
behind
power.
bars,
Mm-hmm.
and she can
So that
bail
makes me
herself
one of
out.
them.
She has access to the bank to bail herself out, and access to an attorney after having access to some
Yeah.
handcuffs because she wanted to act like she was with one of us. Like, she probably used to put her hands on brothers and
And well, we have to see because she
I'm not calling the
yeah,
police.
'cause she
He called the police.
this the thing
Put
because she
your hands on Tom.
well we have to
Facts.
see because she was married.
Right.
Yeah, but she was
And he was
but
like,
listen,
I
y'all, she was married to Christopher
called
Williams. You remember Christopher
a
Williams?
popo.
I wanted that she put the pause
Oh
on him. She
yeah.
was married to him.
Because you put your hands on Ray Ray, you just might get
Williams is crazy.
you know how that goes.
Used up the hand. Like, I was watching one of those old Harlem Dope Boy documentaries, and brother said he had he had
Oh
up the
yeah, I remember
man
she put the
up
paws
the
on
hammer
him.
at an
Yeah,
event.
yeah.
So
I
Christopher
remember
Williams
that.
wasn't about games.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was about that life. Right.
So that means Chris was really about that. So that means if you put Stacey must
I'm
like that
calling
though.
the police on
She
you.
like
Jeffrey
putting hands on
Marty.
people.
Jeffrey Marty.
She must like that. The
Yep.
roughneck guy, you know.
Jeffrey Marty called the cops.
Yep.
I need some
Oh, Marty Marr
statements. So
called
she
the
decided
cops
to go
on
that
her.
route and put their hands on the
Hands on
white dude.
Jeff.
White dude was like, "Oh no,
Marty Marr
911."
said,
Yeah, you crazy. This black woman nuts.
I'm white because I think I'm happy. Exactly.
Okay, game.
And then she got arrested, right? Then she was like,
I need the
"Oh,
white
This
woman
is
what's your
the
here.
racial
this is the
identity?" And she checked that box, said
this is the
white. I
access to
am
power.
white.
He bailed her out 2 days after
I'm
she
not like the
arrested him,
mother
so he
nativists. I'm
meritoriously
white.
manumitted her.
I deserve a pass. That's what she said. I need a
Yeah.
pass.
Because it
Is
hit
it
her with
possible
that
that he has
leaflet and was
Stockholm
like, I can
syndrome?
just put you in the air
Exactly.
like it's nothing. You see that?
Oh my
I'm Jeffrey
god.
Marty.
I
Okay?
Marty
love
Marr.
her. I love her. I'm also gonna pay for your attorney too, baby. We belong
Mm,
I'm Jeff.
together.
Three no- three numbers, bitch. 911.
mm, mm,
Jeff Marty.
You're
Fuck
gonna
with
have your nigga wake up call, but I still love you. But I just need to let
Jeff.
you know that
Big
was a
Jeff.
warning. Okay, that
911
was a
on deck.
warning. Okay, you will go to jail next time.
That man
Don't put your
had the
hands on
911.
me.
They thought he had
You
the
gotta log
cops
in,
on
believe me
speed
anyway.
dial.
I'm
mm-hmm.
She
white.
knows it's not a game, and she got hit with that treatment. I don't know why she tried.
Who, Marty?
Snitch, snitch.
I don't know. I didn't listen.
Jeff
There's a
Marty.
YouTube clip. I'm gonna have this. Let me do this real quick. There's a YouTube clip that
Did he give a full statement? Yeah, did Marty give a full
Well,
statement?
right. I'm a I'm a
Okay.
I'm a let you have
I
it.
don't want to be too
well,
long on
yeah.
this, but this is very very interesting because you know how
Oh yeah, there's
it's
a
just
lot of men
different
raised like
between
Before he was
that.
black
getting
women
his
and black
cousin
men.
because
Like,
his
come on,
cousin
man.
a
Right.
Like,
world
we gonna
star.
restrain her. There's some hood ass niggas like you hit
Of
me,
course.
but guess what? I'm slapping the shit
Look,
out
Yeah.
of you. I don't,
this is
I'm
what
not saying I'm
this
like
is what
that. What I'm
Jeffrey
saying
Marty
is, if
did.
you
Jeffrey
hit,
Marty lined it
don't
up for her.
expect to
Jeffrey
possibly get
Marty
hit back. That's what I'm
allegedly
saying.
faked his injuries
Yeah.
and coached his
Mm-hmm.
children on
Oh,
what to
I'm gonna get
say.
my
You see how
cousin.
he lined up a
To get her
platform
locked
for
up.
her
I'm
ass.
gonna get
That's
Yeah.
your
Tasha,
access to power.
and Tasha gonna handle it.
Not you.
He's a lawyer.
Exactly.
He's a
Not
lawyer.
you.
He's a
Oh,
lawyer.
the
Not only
setup.
does he have the law on his side, but he has the
You can realize,
manipulation of the
baby,
law as a
I'm the real
profession. He
white
Right.
knows
person
how
in
to
this
play with the
relationship.
law. I am the law.
I have power,
Yeah.
baby. Systemic racism on that ass.
Not yours. Yeah.
Exactly. It says his 3 children. What you think it was?
Right. And
You
the
got into his
persuasiveness to
household.
do it.
Fact.
And his children are all prepped up too. You thought those were your children too? Oh no, he said these are my children. Mm,
Yeah.
mm. What?
Hold on. Guess how
Oh man, it's got so many layers to this because it's like, oh
Well,
man, there's a
yeah.
lot of sisters like her out there. And
guess,
I hate
10
seeing
days.
guess
sisters
how
in
long
her
she
in
10
their
guess how
days.
case,
long she
but
knew
bed
him
wenches.
before she got
They
There's
married.
a lot
been
of
married for a
bed
year.
wenches who pull this maneuver and then they get
For a
that
year
they get that
before.
nigga wake up call.
Yeah, she was after the
And
bag.
now all of a sudden, they want to
She
check
got
that
her
box
bag.
off.
Yeah, she got
I'm
a
not
bag,
like
all
y'all.
right.
For real.
She got
For
married.
real.
10 days. How long they been married?
Oh.
But yeah, oh my god. And she was after that bag and ended up getting bagged. Got bagged. But it's all good. Listen, don't end up like Stacey Dash or any of these other brunch niggas out there or organizations, y'all. If y'all listen to our show, I would suspect that you all are really about that life, about the movement. So thank you all for rocking with us. Hit that like button, subscribe, share the podcast. If you want to support us on the Patreon, go ahead and do that too. We appreciate y'all. We are out.